everybody, today I thought I would do an interview guide for cabin crew, as so many people have messaged me and requested that I give a little bit more information on what to expect if you have an interview, or if you're thinking of applying, what the interview process sort of looks like and what the day consists of. So I can't say that I have done every single interview, because obviously I haven't, but I have applied to a couple of companies, so I do know their strategic ways of their selecting. But I do know that the majority of companies do use sort of the same guideline for selecting their applicants. So yeah, this is going to be my guide for interviewing. Also, I just wanted to say that I have been so busy with flying. I've just had all my annual exams, and also with makeup, and also planning my wedding because I get married in 8 weeks. 8 weeks. So I haven't been able to film as much as obviously I'd want to, but hopefully I can get back on track, and when things calm down a little bit, then I can get more up and answer more questions, etc. But bear with me. So anyway, let's crack on with this video, and I hope you enjoy it. So most companies will make you do an online application. So it's sort of like a sorting process, which you can go online, fill out the application form, and then they'll come back to you within a reasonable amount of time and let you know if you are successful for a face-to-face interview or an interview day. Talking quickly online, the online interview is a brisk scale of what they are looking for. So it's quite important that you look through the company's websites and just see what they're about before you apply. And also, if you know anybody that works for the company, just ask them for a little bit of advice on what to write in your interview, as it is quite important. If you think the large scale of people that are applying for the job, they don't want an essay or a life story, they just literally want to skim through an application and then they'll tick off yes or no. So when you are doing an online interview application, I would say that the best thing for you to do would be to sell yourself, but sell yourself in a short and sweet way. And also, like I said, look on their websites of the companies, go through and just have a look and research and sort of answer your questions by looking at their website. It's so difficult to explain it, but I'll explain everything to do with the interview, and then maybe after that you might get some ideas on what to put in your application. It's so important to make sure that you are fully prepared for these interviews, because I think you don't really know what to expect or what they're going to ask, but hopefully I'll be able to help you out so you are really fully prepared. So at the beginning of the interview, you will be asked, or you might be asked, to do a reach test and also a height test as well. So the reach test is basically a pole at the required height, and you are asked to reach and put your hand around the pole. This is fine for anybody that is over the height of probably 5'6". Some others may struggle. Also depends if you have long arms, short arms, etc. This reach test is basically to see if you can reach the overhead lockers, and as some aircraft have emergency equipment in the overhead lockers, so it wouldn't be great if you are too small. And this goes on to the next thing, the height test. So the majority of cabin crew, sorry, I had like a little hair in the air. The height test, and the height test is really important because you need to be a certain height in order to fly. I think the majority of airlines are 5'2", and you could try a big donut on top of your head to make you a little bit higher, or heels aren't going to do the trick, I'm afraid, because you have to take your shoes off. If you are not that height, then I'm not really sure if you'll be able to fly. However, there's so many jobs within the company that you can do. just make sure that if you are unsure if you are that height or not, that you get measured, because it is so disheartening if you go to the interview, they do your height test, and you've travelled up and stressed yourself out about the interview, and a couple of minutes later they tell you that you have to go because you're not the height. They do state the height in your online application, so you should be made aware of what height regulations there are. And the reach test is just basically making sure that you're able to reach the required level of height as well. So don't worry, you don't need to be 6'10". You can be 5'3", 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 6 foot, 1, 2, whatever. Just make sure that you are aware of the height and the reach restrictions. So going back to the online application, what I said about researching the company, one of the really good things to do is to go onto their website and read about the company, their history, what routes they go to, the company's ethos, you know, plans for the future. It's so good to be able to answer questions that they might ask you with the company. So it is really important that you have a general knowledge on the company that you're applying for. So preparation is vital, so make sure that you do quite enough research so that you can make sure that you are fully prepared. The next thing is presentation. When you walk through the door, you are being watched from that second, okay? So they're going to be watching from the receptionist, from people walking around, to other candidates. You are being watched, and you are being, I know it sounds really bad, but you are being judged because they want you to be part of their team, and your first impression really makes a difference. So it's really important that from that first moment that you do make a lasting impression and a good impression. So when you choose an outfit to wear, whether or not you're female or male, make sure that it's a representable outfit decision, that you don't really want to go in there with a crop top and, you know, a leather high-waisted skirt, because it's not really appropriate. So just make sure that you're choosing appropriate outfits for what you would expect in an interview. So what I say to girls that I speak to is they want to envision you in their uniform. So if you try and get close to the uniform, so you might want to choose your hair up in a bun or in a nice style, and, you know, nice flawless makeup, and the boys a nice suit, so that they can see you and think, oh, well, they look really nice, so, you know, they would represent our uniform like perfectly. So it is important that you present yourself well. So one of the commonly asked questions is, what do you know about our company, that they might ask you in your interview. So it is important that you research, so that if you have got that question, then you are quite quick to answer it. Other questions might be about your main competitors or the routes that the airline fly to. So it would be good if you had a question that you could sort of turn around. Hi Holly. That you could turn around and you could answer the question by using some knowledge that you have found out. So going back to what I said about first impressions, which are so important, and your presentation, you are being watched. They are watching how you are communicating with people and how you're presenting yourself. So it's really important from that moment that you walk into the interview that you are being an exceptional candidate, really. So when you are speaking to the receptionist, when you're signing in, that you are polite and friendly and say hello, and, you know, you might be nervous, just say to them you might be nervous, that's absolutely fine. And, you know, there are going to be other candidates there, so speak to them, find out about them, because you never know, you could actually be in the same training group together in the future if you're successful. So it's important to make friends. Everyone's going to be nervous, everyone's going to be in the same boat, and also don't be put off if people have already flown. that doesn't give you an advantage just because you have flown. So if somebody's sat there and saying to you, oh well, I've flown for blah blah for so many years, it doesn't matter. That doesn't give them a better advantage over you that might have not flown before. So don't panic about that. Just go in with a nice personality and professional, look great and be confident. That's really the best advice that I could give you. I know it can be quite nerve-wracking knowing what to wear, especially for the girlies, for the interview. So a couple of things that I would recommend would be like you could wear a high-waisted skirt with a nice shirt top, or with a nice necklace or a nice scarf. It really depends on what time of the year that you might be having your interview as well. So even trousers with a nice fitted blouse or shirt with a nice cardigan. Wear what you feel comfortable, but remember it's an interview, so don't go over the top. And boys, you know, a nice shirt and trousers, it's quite easy for the boys because the majority look really good in a suit. So just think to yourself how you would like to think. The best way I can look at it is you're at a job, or you don't have a job. You might not have a job at the moment, but you're at a job and you want a different job. So you're going to impress as much as you can. So dress to impress. Girls, makeup wise, don't overdo it, but you know, I'll do a interview makeup tutorial in a couple of weeks as well for you all. But also look through their website, because you will see what the girls sort of look like, and you can get an idea of what makeup is allowed and what makeup's not. So don't go in with last night's makeup and, you know, 6 pairs of eyelashes and killer red lip. Red lip's cool, go for that if you want to, that's no problem at all, but don't overdo your makeup. You still want to impress, not scare them away. Punctuality. So punctuality is key with being cabin crew, and through any airline they'll always tell you this, that it's so important to make sure that you are punctual. So my best advice on the morning of the interview, ensure that you have left plenty of time. Take into consideration if it's a 9 o'clock start, rush hour. If it's somewhere in London, then it might be congestion charges or anything like that. So make sure that you leave plenty of time for your interview, because you don't want to be stressed out. You're going to be nervous anyway, so you don't want to be stressed out with stuck in, you know, you're sat nav telling you have 59 miles to go and it starts in 10 minutes, because you'll just freak out and it doesn't look great on you. So make sure that you leave plenty of time to ensure that you are going to get there in time. So I would say a reasonable amount of time to arrive before the interview would be 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. That way you can get in, sign in, make sure that you are calm, you can get to know a few people, and you can just relax and just have a cup of tea or coffee or a glass of water and just breathe. You don't want to stress, especially with such, you know, such an important interview. So that would be my best advice to you. So now the interview. So this is going to be so scary, but I'm going to talk to you about certain companies do certain things. So you might start all together with a group exercise. In a group exercise, I would say that they are looking at how you are dealing with other people, other people's opinions. There could be more confident candidates than you, or you could be the confident one and there could be shy ones. Make sure that everyone's involved, everyone's getting their say, and if someone is shying away, you know, just say to them, are you okay? You're not the teacher obviously, but you just want to make sure that your personality is coming across as that you're kind and genuine, so and easy to get along with other people. Because if you think about it, if you do get this job, then you are going to be working with different crew the majority of the time, and you could meet, you know, depending if you're long or short haul, 30 different faces every week. So just make sure that you're friendly and kind, and you know, you get everybody involved. It might be a role play, so you might be asked to act out a scenario where something might have happened, like you're in a restaurant and there's a customer complaining. How would you deal with it? So in this sort of circumstance, I would say that it's really logic. The best advice I can give is try to put yourself in the position that that person is in. So say for example, if you are in a restaurant yourself and you get really bad service and the waitress or waiter is so rude to you and your food comes out late and it's cold, how would you feel? You'd feel pretty annoyed. And how also would you feel if you were to complain and then you got a awful response back? You'd be so upset, disheartened, angry, all these emotions running through you. And this is the same in the cabin crew world, because when you're on a flight you deal with many different passengers and they could be having a great day and be really excited and lovely. They might be really nervous and then that might bring out, you know, a bad side to them, or they might be really pissed off and they might take it out on you because something has happened before they got on the flight and you're the only one that they can take it out on because you're wearing the uniform. So that's how I would say in the interview to remember that how would you feel in that instance and how would you react and how would you want somebody to react, and that's the best advice I can give for that really. Just act professional, polite, and if they have a problem, try to resolve it yourself without getting a manager involved. Obviously if it escalates and you can't, then you can, you know, obviously ask for a manager's help. Also finding solutions and being proactive is so important within this industry. So yeah, that's what the role play would really entail. So now the one-on-one interview or the two-on-one interview, it depends. Usually there might be two people. One is taking notes and one is asking you questions, and then they might swap over if they've left anything out. Okay, so this is your time to shine. There is no exact time on an interview. I don't think they really want to be there an hour and a half, but this is your time to shine. So best tips for an interview is don't sit slouched and head down chewing gum, and that's a massive no. Also, make sure that you go to the toilet before the interview if you really need to go and you have bad bladder control, because asking to go to the toilet during an interview is just awful. You can't do that. So sit upright, be alert. Yes, you can be nervous, it's absolutely fine. Of course you're going to be nervous, so if you feel nervous, let that show, that's absolutely fine. It also, being nervous shows how much you want something, so they'll see that as well. And also they're not there to be horrible or grill you, they're there so to make you part of the team. Remember, you've already got an interview, or you're going to apply to get an interview, so you have a purpose for being there. They want you there, they like something, so this is your chance in front of everybody to really let yourself go and show them that the person that you are. When they call your name, make sure that you say hello, that you're blah blah. Say for example, my name's Natasha, but I like to be called Tasha, so I'll say, oh hi there, really nice to meet you, and they'll say Natasha, and I'll say yeah, or I like to be called Tasha, and they'll say, oh okay, brilliant. First of all, you have knocked off that icy start and you are now on a more one-to-one basis, which is quite important. So that's what I would say, and then I'd say like, how are you? And they'd say, oh yeah, I'm fine, thank you, how are you? That's your opportunity to say, oh yeah, I'm really nervous, but really excited. You know, saying things like that will make them think, oh okay, you know, she or he is a bit nervous, but they're also really excited. That's good, let's sit down. I know with my interview I was asked to read a piece of paper, and the piece of paper was just about a hotel, and they just wanted to hear your voice, and they said to me, I was sat down, and they said, could you just read this for us so we could hear your voice? Don't worry, there's no crazy words or anything like that, because I would just be like, ah. But it was fine. So that was that. And then it's really important to obviously maintain eye contact. You want to be really professional, and they're looking at what you're going to be asking. A lot of the questions that they ask you are going to be customer service based. So for example, questions like, tell us a time that you have dealt with a difficult customer. I want to say passenger. Tell us a time that you have dealt with a difficult customer, and what did you do? How did you feel? And they might ask you other questions like, tell us a time where you dealt with a situation where, you know, cultures crossed and you needed to be diverse. Tell us a time where you have really struggled. And what they are gauging from these questions are your strengths and weaknesses, and how also you deal with things. You turned around and said, the time when I had a customer, he was so rude and he was shouting at me, and you know, I didn't deserve it. So do you know what I did? I just told him to fuck off, and that was it. They're literally just going to be like, oh, that's great. Although you might feel those things sometimes, and you might get angry with the way someone treats you, the best advice that I can give is to not say that in an interview. Obviously you don't want to lie, because you will be dealing with situations like this in the air, where a passenger might not speak to you nicely, because in every job you're going to get that from somebody. It's not personal, but it is. The only thing is, I wouldn't lie to yourself, because if you are quite a hot-tempered person, this job actually might be quite difficult, because you're in a confined area, 35,000 feet the majority of the time in the air, and there's nowhere really to go if you get that angry. Although, you know, everyone has anger problems sometimes, and there are ways of dealing with it, which they'll all go through with you in your training. That's absolutely fine. But so be honest about what you say, and just think of incidents that have happened. And if you haven't worked, you might be like fresh out of college, just think of, you know, ways in your life that you have dealt with. You might have been in the supermarket and somebody is pushed in front of you, or you might have been driving somewhere and, you know, there's been an aggressive driver, or there's so many things that happen in everyone's lives that you can relate to a difficult time or challenging time. So just think back to those challenging times, or something that you can remember, to help you through those questions. When they are asking you questions, it's also really important to be honest, like I was saying before, because they want to look at you and see that you are telling the truth and not just something that they want to hear. And we're good at telling if people are, you know, just having us on. So it's important that you are genuine and that you do just be honest. Any skills that you might have. So these skills could be, you speak another language, that's always a bonus, or you can speak a few languages, that's even better. That you did something amazing, like at school or college or university, that, you know, you worked for charities or did event days, or it could be even something like, you know, you ran the marathon. Anything like this is actually quite good, because then the interviewers can see, oh wow, okay, she's or he's like this, oh, they love that, and you know, it's good for them to get to know you in such a short amount of time. They can say, oh, she's really passionate about this, or oh wow, she's really active, she likes this, and she'll love the gyms, and you know, it doesn't matter, but just say it as it is, and just be who you are. Another question is what are your strengths, and also it might be followed up with what are your weaknesses. Weaknesses are a little bit harder because you might not want to be so honest about your weaknesses, and I would say an important way to get past your weaknesses are backing them up with a positive afterwards. So you could say something like you take things to heart that people say. So if you had someone that was rude, that you take it quite literally and sometimes find it hard to brush it off. That's not a bad thing though, because you're learning that as you grow older you'll become stronger, and also it's just relating to the customer, like I was talking about. That, so things like that, really, you don't really want to say, I'm a terrible timekeeper, I never get up in the morning, I'm always late, because they're going to be like, oh, well, she's obviously going to miss her 6 a.m. report to wherever. Another question might be about the job itself. So it's a 365-day-a-year job. And what they mean by that is that you might have to sacrifice your birthdays or your mum or your dad's birthdays or special events if you might not be able to get them off. This is quite a negative question in the beginning, but there's ways to turn it around. So what I would say in an instance like that is, yeah, okay, you might be sacrificing these events. However, the idea of flying to all these amazing destinations, etc., are so exciting, and you know, you can take away your friends and family. So if you've missed out on something important, then you can always make it up to them. And I think that's a really good question answered. Another question would be, where do you see yourself in a certain amount of time? So if you are only wanting to fly for a couple of years, then, you know, I would answer it like, I really want to fly because I want to travel the world. I want to meet as many people as I can and gain as much knowledge and experience within working with your company. And if you do want to progress and you want to go higher, then you could say, you know, I would love to look towards working hard for promotion. I'd love to work as a SEP trainer one day, so safety equipment procedures trainer one day, or I'd like to work as an AvMed trainer, which is an aviation medicine trainer. All these things. Another really good way to look at it is, once again, go on their website and look at their job roles of what you can do and how you can progress, because if you really want to progress, they will see that as, you know, you are sort of a lifetime investment. So they might ask you the question of how you would describe yourself, and I think it's quite easy for people to think that all they want to hear is for you to turn around and say, I'm amazing, I'm brilliant, I'm spectacular, I'm just one in a million, I'm so unique. And although they want to hear that, they also want to hear it realistically. So you could say, you know, I am a very passionate person. I put everything into something. If I start something, I won't finish it. And you could say a little weakness if you want to drop it in there, just so that they know that you're being real. So you could also say that, you know, you're positive, you're a positive person, and if someone's upset, you're a good listener. You can speak to them, you can relate to them, you're empathetic. You know, you might get too involved, so if there's a passenger that's really upset, you can really feel upset for them as well with something that's happened, and you know, sometimes you can find it hard to shake it off, how they're feeling, because you might take it with you. It's all like the old saying goes, really, with people that are quite draining on you as a personality. If somebody is quite negative, then it can make you feel a little bit negative. If they're positive, it might make you feel a little bit positive. It's just certain ways of that. So just make sure when you're describing yourself that you are really honest, and give good and bad examples, but make sure that the bad examples aren't just cutthroat bad examples, that they can be fixed and easily adjusted, etc. So at the end of every single interview, they'll always ask if you have any questions, and this is your chance for you to ask something that you have prepared. So it could be something like, have you got any new routes coming to your company, and do you see any change in this? Or if you're passionate about something like the economy, and you could say, have you got any like green schemes? Just have a look to see what questions that you want to ask. It might not be a great idea to sit there and ask, what's the pay like? How much will I be getting? You know, when I get off the aircraft, can I have a cigarette? Those sort of questions are probably slightly inappropriate at this stage. Just make sure that they're quite constructive, and yeah, it's always good to ask a question. But don't worry if you don't have a question, it's not a bad thing if you don't have a question at all. It's just sometimes nice to, if you do have any questions that, you know, are you on your mind, you might say, how long is the training course? Anything that you might feel like you need to ask, then at least you've asked the question without sitting there. And don't be scared to ask the question either. So when the interview is done, you will pretty much get the grasp of it, because the people that are interviewing you will sort of wrap it up and say they have enough information from you. So in that case, thank them for their time. So hopefully I'll see you soon. Have a nice day or a nice evening, whatever time it is, afternoon. Take care, goodbye, that sort of thing. Say goodbye to everyone, be smiley, be friendly. Good luck to the other candidates if they're there. And then you can go home and have a drink and relax, because your day is over and you've done all that you can. And do not be disheartened if you do not get it the first time. They say on average it takes 2 or 3 times to get a job in the industry with a company. So don't be disheartened. You have been through the experience, you know what to expect next time. So don't panic, just wait however long the time's like. I think you have to wait 6 months or a year and just reapply. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And you know, just relax, take it easy. Don't beat yourself up if you can't do it. It's not the right time for you. You weren't the right person they were looking for at that moment. That does not mean that you're not the right person in the future. It just means that they're looking for something different. Lastly, I want to say a massive good luck to anybody that does have an interview. You will be absolutely fine. Just relax. Like, you will be fine. I know it's so scary and nerve-wracking, and you'll just be like, oh, I just want it to be over. I just want to get the job and I just want to fly. But you will be fine. Just relax, read everything, take it easy, take a deep breath. If they ask you a question and you don't know what it means, or you need some time to think because your mind's gone blank, just say to them, can you ask the question again please, sorry, and they will be happy enough to do that, because there's so much information. Your mind is like, and sometimes you just need like, whoa, just give me 10 seconds to recollect my thoughts. And also it's a really good tip as well, because if you don't know what to say and you just need your brain to just kick into gear, then just saying, oh sorry, could you repeat the question for me, by the time when they're reading the question out to you, it will give your mind a few seconds to work out what you're going to say. So massive good luck. I hope you found this really, really helpful. If you have any more questions that you'd like me to go over, then please just message and leave a comment in the box below for me, and I will try and get back to you all as soon as I can. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up for me, and if you'd like me to do anything on flying, because sometimes I don't know what really to do, what people would find interesting and not. And also I really want to vlog, I really do, because I go to some amazing places, I have so much fun, but obviously I don't know how much what I should do and what people would like to see. So anything that you'd like me to do, etc., just comment and I will try my hardest to do it. But I all hope you have a lovely weekend and a great week, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.